5 seconds. Ready, start. Mr. Speaker, sir, I may tell the House that as far as this matter is concerned, our conscience is quite clear. As Finance Minister, I am aware of the expenditure which was sanctioned for the purpose of famine relief. Those who think that we have not gone far to give more relief have not understood the magnitude of the problem and the resources available to the government to meet the famine conditions. Honorable members think that we have got enough resources to meet the problem of this size. It is not true. That is why the Chief Minister told the House yesterday that this was an unprecedented famine. It is not as if we are going through normal times. We are passing through. Purchasing power of the people goes down. There is nothing surprising about it. The leader of the opposition seems to think that if we give 75% of the produce to the tenant, it will lead to increased protection. But I would like to point out that we are mostly a state of peasant proprietors. In spite of that, protection is going down. As a matter of fact, protection has gone down throughout the country. If that is so, it is due to failure of rains. Further, it must be remembered that the land holdings are small and the peasants do not have sufficient capital to invest in agriculture. We must improve the economic condition of the peasants. Country, there is no organization of farmers. The fact of the matter is that their condition has not improved to the extent we want it this in this country. All of us know that India is in the rural areas, so it is only fair to point out that unless and until rural India is uplifted, we shall take a long time for development. So I would submit that all the political parties, if they want the rural areas to improve, should see that there are strong organizations of farmers. I would like to point out that I have said again and again in these houses that there should be a rural forum for the improvement of the condition of the farmers. In the present circumstances, if we want to improve corruption, honorable members should realize what the reaction would be from the point of view of the people. It is stated that there is an element of corruption, but what can the minister do? When it is said that the benefit is not reaching the weaker sections, the people concerned are not identified correctly, then it is said again and again that the living condition of the poorer sections of people living in the rural areas should be improved. If we do something, it is said that it is political. I have already stated what we have done after we took charge, and I do not want to repeat it. Person in the general hospital and his discharge from it after 2 or 3 days, it was also stated that he was consequently thrown into the streets, that such things should not happen in future, and that appropriate steps should be taken to see that such persons were taken care of by handing them over to some institutions or some reasonable persons. I am glad to say that the resident medical officer of the general hospital has reported that sanction has been given for employing attendants from continues to take care of blind persons. whenever necessary as regards the actual happening. If the honorable members give me more facts, I will have the matter inquired into. Letter from the manager Varuna and Company, Lucknow, to Messrs. Padmanabha and Company, Bhopal. Dear sirs, I may inform you that I brought your letter before the board of directors and their meeting yesterday, but after some discussion they were obliged to postpone further consideration of the matter until the next meeting of the directors, which will be held towards the end of this month. In this connection, I think the directors will be glad if you set forth your proposals more fully than you have done in your letter. I have to point out that the first cost of the material is very low, but at the same time, the question of the additional cost of preparing it for sales and the additional expenditure which will have to be incurred in advertising it will be taken into consideration by the directors. In the circumstances, if you give your estimate of the total expenditure that will have to be incurred for this purpose, it will certainly help them in coming to a decision. If you make an appointment for some day next week, I shall be glad to see you, and it is possible that I may be able to give you some further particulars in regard to the matter. In the meantime, I have great pleasure in enclosing a copy of the director's report published last month. I hope to hear from you at an early date. Yours faithfully, Stop.